what I'd like to do now is introduce each of you and let you introduce yourselves to this group. Take about a minute. Tell me who you are, where you are speaking from, and also give us a good referral for your company and what you do. I will call you the way I see you on my screen. And I would like to start out with Joanne, please.
Hello, my name's Joanne Ratterman, and I am currently seeking employment. My specialty is market research and competitive intelligence. I reside in the Indianapolis area and can work remotely from the computer these days, so that makes it accessible anywhere that people are located. And that's my spiel.
Rhoda, please.
Hi, everyone. Also from Indianapolis, Indiana. And my team and I say it for our clients who don't have time to both do it and say it. And so we aim to show that they're in the now and in the know with very up-to-date, very informative, and well-researched content. So we say it for you.
Thank you, Rhoda. Mr. Gerald Cowan, please.
Hey, good morning from Indianapolis. Gerald Cowan, lawyer. Good referral for me would be a wrongful death case or a serious injury case. I hate to see those things happen, but they do happen, and people are entitled to just compensation for their damages and for their loss. Also, a good referral for me would be a high net worth estate planning case. Changes are pending in Congress right now. If they ever get their act together, that could wipe out the $11.7 million exemption, take it down to like 3.5 or who knows what. People in a high net worth category ought to jump onto that and transfer some of that money right now, because if you keep it, you may end up paying 40% in death taxes.
Thank you, Gerald. Sal, if you would, please.
Very nice to be here with all of you. Thank you for having me. As you can see there, my name is Sal Acosta, and I am a business broker, which means I help people buy and sell businesses. I am in the thriving metropolis of St. Clairsville, Ohio, all the way on the very eastern edge, before you get into western Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh and so on and so forth. But through the magic of the internet, I can work with people all over the country. Isn't that true, Jerry? Jerry and I were working on a situation that hopefully is coming to a happy close. I'm surprised she didn't name it as her success for this week. Again, very nice to be here with all of you, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. I'm assuming you do that in this group.
That is correct. And then Sal will also be a speaker at a later date. Jerry Luco, please.
Good morning, Jerry Luco, and the main business that I talk about here is Franchise Business Source. So I help people that want to be business owners find a franchise business that fits their financial, their freedom, their money goals. And yes, Sal and I have been working on a resale of a franchise California, and I did not have gray hair before we started working on that project together. So it's been super interesting. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, not too far from Adele. And a good referral for me would actually be a commercial real estate. And I work anywhere across the U.S.
Thank you so much there. Last but not least, Gloria, I don't know where she's coming from, what country, what nation, what state, Thomas, but spends her time way too much traveling. Go ahead, Gloria.
Good morning, everybody. Gloria Thomas. I am home here in Columbus, Ohio. We are with Secret. We are the lifestyle company. And so we help people with issues with energy, discomfort, weight loss, just anything to improve your lifestyle there. Recently, we've been doing a lot with nutrition, and my husband and I have lost a lot of weight. I personally have lost 20 pounds, over 20 pounds. He's lost more than that. Normally, when you start having issues with diabetes and high blood pressure and In my case, I have connective tissue disorder and sarcoidosis, whatever you want to call it. You end up taking medications, and instead of backing off medications, you usually have to take more after a while. We're in the process of backing off medications, so that is awesome. This thing is life changing. So if you know of anybody who would like a better lifestyle, who would like better health, please let me talk to them, because this has been awesome. Again, Gloria Thomas with Secret Direct.
Outstanding, Gloria. We talk about this as business owners. If you can go out here and make all this money, all of you want, but if you're not healthy and you don't have quality of life, it's a game changer.
It is.
So
it really is.
So with that, what I'd like to do now is introduce our main speaker this morning. Our speaker this morning will be Miss Adele Busch. Adele, you now have the floor, and you also have complete access to any display.
Thank you, Keith. Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about some new services that I launched recently that enrich, empower, and enable your business. So I'm going to share here. A few times this year, I had a chance to present to a couple of my local networking groups here in Columbus, Ohio. And we talked about business muscle. Now, we decided that business muscle does not mean that you have to go to the gym and lift crazy amounts of weight like these guys do. Now, these are actual pictures of guys and gals lifting weights at my gym. But rather, we decided that business muscle is everything that you have. Everything that you've put into your business, your time, your talents, your skills, your money, your reputation, your goodwill, and much, much more. And like weightlifting, it takes everything you have to lift that weight. And in the case of business muscle, it takes all your business muscle to lift a problem and solve a problem off your client's shoulders. And in the course of doing so, ladies and gentlemen, you discover things about yourself that you never knew before. You discover capabilities that you never thought you had. And that's what happened to me. And I'm going to start by telling you a story about my journey, what brought us, how we started to where we are today. Quite honestly, it's time for me to flex my business muscle. And yes, that old woman on the bench, that's me. The folks here in Columbus know that I love to go to the gym, and they know I love to work out. And I've been weight training for quite a few years. Weight training has been a wonderful outlet for me. It's taught me a lot about myself. It's changed my mind. It's changed my body. And it's a good stress reliever. But lately, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So I've had to modify some of my weightlifting activities. I have to kind of work around the aches and pains and all that. But we still have muscle, and we still have business muscle. This is where we've come from. And I like to say that ASB Business Services has grown organically. We started out very small, just doing random phone calls. And like any other business, I picked up whatever work I could. And I've made some calls, and I've been called some things in return. Well, one thing led to another. I decided to take those random phone calls and establish more defined services. And we took those more defined services and we targeted our calls to specific clients and specific businesses and specific industries. And we found that those targeted calls led us to another service. And that's how we established our research and prospect development services. So now we've taken our research prospect development services, our phone call skills, and we put them together, and we can custom design campaigns now for our clients from start to finish. We can do the business research. We can find the prospects for you and make the calls. So with all that being said, we've taken another leap and we've become a consulting firm, because that's exactly what I do. I do a lot of consulting with my clients. We consult on the best way to make the call. We consult on who the best prospects would be. We strategize, we talk, and we work together. So consulting led to some new services that sprung out of the services that I had already been performing. So let's take a look, and I'm going to show you my business muscle. So welcome to ASB Business Services, LLC. We are a comprehensive consulting firm. We consult mostly on the best types of calls to make for your business to get the best results for you. Our business is, as I said, a consulting firm. And because we're a consulting firm, we have a consultancy. We have a team of consultants that I like to work with and refer to as much as possible. And we work only with the best of the best. And one of our main consultants is Rhoda someone that we all know and love. And as you know, Rhoda's specialty is content writing, blog writing, anything that has to do with creativity. And if I come across a client that says, I need new content, I'd like a corporate blog, of course, I would refer to Rhoda Israelov. Our second consultant is Mike Mosteller. Now, some of you may know Mike. I think he's been a presenter at CBN in the past. Mike is a highly successful and a highly regarded business coach here in Columbus. He's worked with Fortune 500 companies. So when I find a client that has a business coaching need and they're of the caliber that Mike can work with, I love to refer to Mike. I also have a large menu of services that I offer. But today we're going to talk about the new services that I recently put in place. And again, these new services came out of services that I had already been providing. And I says, well, if I can do that, why don't I just make them services and work from there? So let's see if we can get the PowerPoint to work. There we go. All right, I'm going to enlarge this. So these are one of the new services that we put in today, accounts receivable calls. Now, again, these were born out of a service that I was performing already for a client. And we were so successful with these accounts receivable calls that I decided to implement them in my business. Now, I will tell you this, an ASB accounts receivable call dispels all the myths about hardcore collections and debt recovery. An ASB accounts receivable call is unique. It's unique from the point that we say thank you for your business. That's one of the first things that we say when we call. We also tell them this is a courtesy call to remind you about the balance that's open. We also work through with the accounts payable people. Do you have the invoice? No, I don't. We try to recover any billing information that we need to get and correct that to avoid any delays in payments in the future. And believe it or not, our accounts receivable calls help reduce the accounts receivable for the client. And the client that I'm working with now has considerably reduced theirs. We went from 5 figures on quite a few accounts, and those columns are all zeroed out now. Our accounts receivable calls are not debt recovery. They're not collection calls. They're courtesy calls, and they work. And the more generous and helpful you are in the accounts receivable realm, the better your results will be. And I really enjoy these calls because I know it helps my clients recover money that's owed to them. And it also helps the accounts payable people discover problems in their system. So it works hand in hand. The other new service that I put in is foreign language calls. Now, I love these calls because I grew up in an ethnic home and I grew up in an ethnic community. And my mother and my aunts and uncles were bilingual. So I certainly understand the needs of people who do not have English as their first language. And I'm going to read this word for word to you. Why our foreign language calls are so special. They're designed to support businesses to reach non-English or limited English-speaking clients and prospects. And we use a live interpreter on every call. Our foreign language calls are adaptable to any of our services. And it will have a positive impact on your clients and prospects. And it will help you create trusting and lasting relationships. One of the things about our foreign language calls that we discovered recently, it gives you the competitive advantage because a lot of your competitors aren't doing this. It demonstrates that your business, that you as a business owner are culturally sensitive. It ensures that the best services, best practices, and the best products are available for everybody. Why should the limited speaking or the non-English speaking services clients, why should they have to settle for low cost services because there's a Spanish speaking person there or a person who speaks another language? No, we want them to have your services as well. And it enables you to stand out. When you use an interpreter on a call to promote your business or discuss your business with somebody, it helps you to stand out. And also, our services can be integrated with any diversity or inclusion programs that your business might have that focuses on sales and marketing. And we do use a live interpreter on every call, and I do partner with Farhat Advanced Interpreting here in Columbus, Ohio. Now, if you look at my website, there is a small testimonial on the website as to the impact and the power of our foreign language calls. I had a client come to me recently that had two problems. He had an accounts receivable problem. And the person that he needed to reach, the principal owner of the business that owed him a significant amount of money, was a non-English speaking business owner, very limited English. Now, this business owner had a partner who spoke English. So my client was working through the partner, but the partner was not communicating with the business owner. So we got on the phone with an interpreter and we called the principal owner of the business. And once he was able to understand, it changed the whole dynamics of the relationship. He didn't know there was a problem, but he was able to understand through the interpreter what the problem was. He apologized for it, and my client had a check the next day. So that's the power of using foreign language calls. And we love what it does for our clients, and I enjoy working with the interpreters and with these types of businesses. And last but not least, the other new services that we have are fractional services, fractional business development and sales development services. And I woke up in the middle of the night and this came to me. I said, Adele, you've been doing this all along. So why don't you create a service and advertise this as something that your business can do? So that's what we did. We can have fractional business development. We can be a fractional business development and a fractional sales development representative for your business. And some of the areas that we can work on for you are business development. We can do telephone outreach. We can obtain information and exchange information on your behalf. And we can also help facilitate and create meetings and conversations for your business. Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to go stop sharing right now. And does anyone have any questions? Yes,
go right ahead, Jerry.
Well, it's not a question, but I'm going to say that, and I've been telling Adele a couple of weeks, Adele has a siren song when she's talking to people. She's able to get these things, appointments and stuff like that. She just, she really lulls them into just saying yes to whatever it is she's asking for. So.
Thank you, Jerry. It's a pleasure working with you. And good clients like you help us be successful for you.
Yeah. I think one of the things that COVID has forced the rest of us to recognize is that with the proper technology and the proper planning, you are capable of working anywhere with most people. Notice I didn't say everyone, but anywhere with most people. And Adele's business is a perfect example of that. Each and every one of us now must be able to think beyond our own backyard, as long as you have a phone. Rhoda.
As a speaker, I cannot help but notice that Adele looks different on the screen than any of us do. And that's very powerful. Can you see the difference?
Yes, I was not going to bring that up.
But that's a very, very powerful thing.
Yes.
She's standing, and that gives her the ability to use her body language and her hands and arms. And she stands out on the screen more than any of us. So I think that's a tip for all of us who make presentations.
Thank you, Rhoda. I'm more comfortable standing when I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that we had these technical difficulties today, but maybe we can have a one-on-one sometime and we can go over this again if you have any questions or comments.
Yes. What does the word fractional mean in terms of the services that you do? Why is it called fractional?
Fractional meanings that we would be independent contractors, that we're not part of your company, but we represent your company on the phone as if we were an employee. Fractional means like an outside person working on your behalf.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon now, particularly, especially in business. We've always had fractional CPAs, fractional CFO. Yeah, so that fractional now, and it relates to the gig economy, right? I'm not going to have someone on my staff that I don't need in a significant position when I can buy Adele services for 10 hours a month. That's fractional. So,
Right, but my question is, why did you put that as a separate category when in essence all of your services are fractional, in that you're not an employee, but you represent the company?
Right. What I wanted to emphasize in those new services is that we can do business development and sales development. That's a separate category. And like I said, as I was reviewing the business and doing everything, I said, this is what we do. So I zeroed in on that. It's fractional business development representatives, fractional sales development representatives, because that's what we do. That's exactly what we do on the phone.
all right. Anybody else with any other questions? I've got a couple, but I'll wait and let somebody else. Mr. Callen, please.
Adele, we all have to buy groceries. So the question is, how do you charge for your services, please? So by the hour, is it a contingent fee on collections, or just what would that be, please?
How I charge, Gerald, my services are packaged. And I have it packaged so that it's affordable for everyone. We can start out with 10 hours of calls a month. We go 15, 20, 25, and 30. And my lowest rate at 10 hours a month would be $350 a month for 10 hours of service. And it goes all the way up to 30. And if anybody would like specific information about my pricing, we can talk about that privately. But that's a perfect question. There's no percentages. When I do the accounts receivable calls, we take out a package of how many hours they'd like me to work on accounts receivable calls. And that's how we price.
Do you have a long-term contract with people, or is it month to month?
It's month to month as needed.
Anyone else? That was one of my questions, Gerald, that I was going to ask her, because like you say, you gotta have grocery stuff.
You're brilliant.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm just following your lead, Gerald. Just following your lead. Hey, quick, while we're on it. Hey, first off, I want to congratulate you for going to the gym. I go by the gym on the way to the ice cream shop. So you're now scaring me, okay? Not only you're a good businesswoman, but you just done scared the hell out of me because I'm not getting in a fight with you. That's it. Wrong, Jerry. You said she's persuading people. Yeah, mafia style. I'll show up. So, no, but I do want to congratulate you for taking care of yourself physically. We just forget that sometimes, and I don't ever want to underemphasize that. That is important. I do go to the gym and work out, but no, I'm not lifting 40 tons. That's not going to happen. So, couple of quick things. Hey, you now are growing, I would assume. Are you
Yes.
adding staff?
I have some fractional staff. I have a couple of people that work with me as independent contractors.
Okay.
And I have one lady right now that's on a project for a client down in North Carolina. But I am looking for additional people.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I'm bringing that up for an obvious reason, right? Is that we might have an ability here. Joanne has a particular kind of skills. I don't know if we can make a link there, but the kind of need are going to need to be flexible and understand what the A.B.S mission is. So, that's just a question I had. The other thing that you brought up, which is, once again, I want emphasizing, you are working the network. You are working your network, whether it's Rhoda or whether it's Jerry or whoever it is, you are working your network. Explain that to us, why you feel that's so important.
working my network, meaning partnerships with people like Rhoda and Mike and Jeff.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're...
Absolutely.
I feel that's important because a lot of times when I'm talking with my clients, I hear things that, hey, we can refer you to someone who can help you resolve that problem. Like if I hear someone that says, hey, I hate my website, I need new content, I need somebody to give me some fresh ideas, Rhoda would be my go-to person for that. If I hear someone that says, boy, my business is growing, I'm crazy, I'm unorganized, I don't know what to do, Jeff Hire Jones would be the person that I would refer them to. Mike Mosteller for coaching. Someone says, hey, I got this issue in my business, I don't know what to do about it. Well, let's talk to Mike Mosteller. I have a couple of other people that I'm probably going to be adding between now and the end of the year. One person will probably be a nonprofit professional. Because I love nonprofits and I want to see them get the best services. So that if we happen to come across a client that could be a nonprofit and they have issues that they want to discuss with a nonprofit professional, the person on my team, they would go to. So it works both ways.
My last question here, as you can see, I'm having speaker issues. And so how do you provide metrics to your clients? Yes, I made 50 phone calls or 100 phone calls or 1,000 phone calls. How do I know they were effective?
What I do, Keith, is we keep a spreadsheet. First of all our leads and prospects are downloaded onto an Excel spreadsheet. I keep a separate tab for statistics. And the statistics are the date that we called, the time that we started the calls, the time that we finished the calls, the number of calls that we made, and I try to figure the percentages. If we made appointments that day, 5 appointments, 0 appointments, whatever. And I deliver that to the client. I have to admit, I am not a numbers person. So I cannot give you real structured analytics, but I can give you an overview. Sometimes I create ratios, like call to appointment ratios. And that's very helpful, as a quick overview. But deep analytics, I can't do it. And I'm not really sure what to do about that. But that's a good question. I need somebody that's an analyst.
Yeah, because if you move up to the next level, the metrics will be the dominant reason why someone will pick your firm over another firm. And your ability to deliver those metrics in whatever way that management team feels is appropriate, I can tell you right now, that is what people will buy at the next level. Absolutely. I mean, I know I've been there. So, just keep that in mind as your business is growing. You're doing a fantastic job.
I'm sorry, Keith, I
When
lost
did
you
you
there.
start your business?
I started the business part-time in 2014. And then I jumped into the business full-time in 2015 when I got downsized from healthcare. And my original plan was to start this business and work exclusively with healthcare because that's what I knew the best. But, with all the red tape involved with privacy and security and HIPAA, I decided that might just be a little bit too much red tape. So I bypassed healthcare and I went into the business world.
Yeah.
Not a problem, Rhoda.
Successful.
I only wish that IU Hospital in Carmel, Indiana, had met Adele, because through an address mistype, I was hounded by a Chicago firm, a debt collection firm, where they called me 17 times a day to try to get me to give them personal information when I wasn't sure who they were. And in the end, I owed nothing. I ended up paying zero. My health insurance had covered everything, but there was simply a clerical mistake. So imagine if Adele had called me and said, this is a courtesy call. There must be a mistake. Did you get your invoice?
Mm-hmm.
That could have been settled instead of a month of suffering through this. The first time in my life ever to be in collections. Can you imagine? Wouldn't it have been wonderful if someone like Adele had called on behalf of the hospital, and in 2 minutes we would have straightened this whole thing out? So I love this story about this courtesy call.
And that really does work. I mean, it resolves issues. It creates awareness of problems
Definitely.
that they didn't know they had.
Right, exactly.
All right, anybody else got any questions for Adele? Just a couple of quick things here. Number one, great presentation. Loved everything about it. I thought it was professional. It made sense. The technical problems, I think every time you do a presentation, you just have to be prepared for technical and just move on. I eat them and just move on. But it was thoughtful. It made sense. I'm going to leave here with an understanding of what Adele Business, what A.S Services do. So, that thing is always the key thing to me. So kudos and congratulations. Number two, as you grow, keep in mind, Rhoda brought up an issue here. You'll never get in front of a big company until you can present them those metrics. I hate to say that. And you may never want to do that, Adele, but I'm saying as you grow those metrics, if you don't have somebody that can do it for you, you're going to have to find them, because that's what they're going to say. It's like, I'm paying you on a per cost basis. What can you show me? And you've got to be able to show them those metrics. And it's just cold hearted. It's just the way it's going to be. And you're like doing what very few people do. And that's you're being very successful in your specialty. That is a big deal. And you're going to have a hell of a story to tell. Now, are you a member of the Ohio MBE community, minority business and economic community?
No, sir, I'm not.
We'll talk offline. You need to make that transition. It is not a guaranteed growth avenue, but it should be part of your strategy. Once again, if you intend to grow and you want to pitch in front of these bigger firms, that will be part of your marketing strategy. If you're not good, it's not going to matter. But if you are good, it can be a significant piece of who you have a window of access to. So, I always bring that up to particularly women and minorities. Once again, if you are not good, it's not going to matter. But if you are good, it should be part of your economic and marketing strategy. So we need to talk offline about that. You need to make sure that you deal with your certifications, because you're not going to be able to pitch to bigger companies. And it's just a fact. So we'll make that work. No problem. Anybody else got anything else to add? Wow. Interesting. Love the presentation. So we're going to close this one out a little bit earlier today. Sal, I will be calling you here as soon as I hang up. I won't be here next week. You guys keep thinking about who's going to be the main head coming in December. I got a couple of candidates. I want you guys to think about it, but getting your chops where you can talk to anybody about anything, anytime, it is a big deal. So, and once again, don't be crying to me talking about, I never did it before. And so don't worry about that. All right. Hopefully by the time I see you guys in 2 weeks, I've gotten all my technical problems straightened out. My head keeps flicking off and on here. I don't know what's going on here. I think it's Gerald Cowan's fault. Gerald, what are you doing to my head? Huh? All right. With that, people, I will say so long. I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Great,
Thank
great, Adele.
you. Yeah.